Hello again and welcome to the Windy Fen. Today I'm going to have a look at the work I've been doing over the last couple of days on my Renault 4, where I've been changing the front brake discs, the front wheel bearings, track rod ends, and just generally tidying it all up and putting it back together. I've also got a set of Renault 5 GTL Furgat wheels which I've had refurbished in matte black, and some mid-range tyres. These are the 4 Renault 5 Phase 1 wheels that I bought, 3 studs. They're all going to need refurbishing, so I'm going to take them over today so that they can go to be blasted and powder coated. I want to get rid of all that crappy rust. I think I'm going to have them powder coated in a matte black to fit the Renault, and then I'll probably put some 145 13 tyres on them rather than the 135 and see how they look. I think I've got a set of wheel nuts for these with this correct angle here for the seats of the nuts, but this is probably the best one actually, but none of them are very good, so they're all going to be powder coated. There's another one with all this rust here. They've just been sitting outside for a couple of years, so they're not too bad. These are the ones with the fixed centres, so there's no plastic centre cap in these. So yeah, I'll take them today and get them powder coated. So these are the wheels back from the powder coaters with the matte black finish. The wheels were never really in very good condition, but they look a whole lot better now that they're powder coated. And these ones have got the new Riken tyres on as well. So now it's time to fit the new wheel bearings and brake discs. So I'm just going to take you through how I took that apart. This is speeded up, but you should be able to follow this if you need to. Quite straightforward, not too much to undo, and hopefully if you've been doing your regular maintenance, everything will come apart quite easily. These pads don't look too bad, but I'm going to replace them for some new ones anyway. So the brake disc moved quite freely, but there was definitely a problem. The smell of burnt grease at this point was quite strong, so needed to see inside the bearing. This is a Sykes press, probably 10-ton bench base press, and this is what it looked like inside with all the burnt grease. And this is the brake disc, quite thick, but as you can see in quite poor condition. That may well have been the original one. We had to use this puller to pull the that would be the outer bearing off of the hub. That was quite tricky. This one was a lot more difficult to remove than the other side, which I think had been off before. But once we got the bearing moving, it came off quite easily. So this is the steering knuckle all apart. This would be the outer bearing, and you can see that that fits in there with the line on the outside, and the new bearing needs to be fitted in the correct way. This is the inside. You can't take the inner bearing out without removing the steering knuckle from the car. Well, you probably could, but why would you? You may as well take it all off and do it on the bench. And you can see in there that there's a lip. Each bearing has to go in as far as that lip, and within the space in between the two sides there is yet another spacer. This is the new bearing kit. We've got one for the inner, one for the outer, a new nut for the drive shaft, and some grease to put on the inside. We're going to try and fit those now. So, time to fit the new bearings in. We decided to use the front wheel drive bearing press tool to pull the bearings into the hub. We use this tool to remove the bearings on the passenger side of the car, but we didn't need to on the driver's side. They all seemed to want to fall out, so that was quite lucky. So this is the brake disc, which has got to go on this hub assembly here, which has got to go into this with the new wheel bearings, one each side. This is the spacer that goes between the inner and outer wheel bearing. You might be fooled into thinking that this is the inner sleeve of one of the bearings, but it's not. It's really important that this goes in so the bearings are evenly spaced and correctly spaced, so when you put the hub back through the bearings, the brake disc will actually turn correctly. So this is quite important. Don't lose it, don't put it in the bin like I did. So this is the hub unit all reassembled with the new brake discs, and I'm just screwing in the 6 bolts to hold the brake disc to the hub. So with it all back together, this is what it looks like on the car. You can see that the brake disc moves quite freely in the caliper. So with one side done, it's on to the other side. I think this side had been off before. This bearing seems to be much more compliant, and the little puller which we used on the bench seems to move the bearing quite easily. With the old bearing out, it's time to fit the new ones. This one was a little bit more old school. We just decided to hammer it in. Quite a good tight fit, as they should be, but a little bit of WD-40 and a hammer, a few gentle taps, the bearing's nicely seated. Don't forget this bit. Finally, the other bearing on the other side with the grease in the middle, and that's all now back together. Fitted back on the car, you can see that the new wheels and tyres are fitted also. As with all the videos about the Renault 4 and fire truck and anything else that I might be doing, they're only the way that I do it. They're not really instructional videos, but hopefully you might be able to find something in there that might help you do it the way you want to do it. So there you are. That's the front brakes, pads, discs and other bits and bobs on the front end all changed, and the new wheels on the car. The car does seem to handle much better now with the new track rod ends, new ball joint and other bits I've fitted on the front, and the new tyres certainly add to the road holding. These are never very good at road holding, but you know, you got to make the best of it. So we've come to the end of the video, and I hope you have liked the video. If you found any of it useful, then please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, or leave me a comment, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.